Here we have y equals 3 over x minus 1. Let's work out the values. Let's plot the first section. Now, before we plot, you realize that in previous work, we don't even compute for when x is 0. But this time, we rather compute for when x is 0, but we didn't do for when x is 1. The reason is that I said from the beginning, for reciprocal graphs, the denominator can never be equal to 0. So, if x is 0, 0 minus 1 is not 0, so we can have a section there. But when x is negative, when x is positive 1, 1 minus 1 gives you what? 0. So that is where we can't have that restriction. We can't have that to happen. So there's a restriction. It says that x can never be equal to 1. And that will lead us to explanation of the asymptote. So let's plot. First section, done. Second section. Okay. Now, let's look at the horizontal asymptote. You could see that they both getting closer to the x-axis, which is y equals 0. So that one, no problem. No shift in the horizontal asymptote. But look at what is happening. They're going to go down all the way here. So they're going to get closer to this line. And this line is called y equals 1. Y equals 1. So you see there's going to be a shift in the vertical asymptote. It will move from x equals 0 to x equals 1. The vertical asymptote will move from x equals 0 to x equals 1. So there's a shift in the vertical asymptote. The reason is that we are what? X minus 1. It works in the opposite way. When it's minus 1, it shifts 1 unit to the right. When it's plus 1, it shifts 1 unit to the left. So you need to understand that. When it's plus 4, the vertical asymptote will shift 4 units to the left. When it's minus 4, it will shift 4 units to the right. So the reason is that we don't want x minus 1 to become 0, and that becomes 0 when x is equal to 1. That is why the asymptote is x equals 1. So this graph is asymptotic to y equals 0 and x equals 1. But like I said, the horizontal asymptote will still be the same, the x-axis, or y equals 0. And that brings us to the end of lesson on reciprocal graphs. Hope you've enjoyed it. Look forward to the next lesson on exponential graph. Thanks for watching.